want to thank everyone for joining us today. It's a matter that's of great importance to the community. It's of great importance to SLED, to our office, to the Horry County School District, and to the Horry County Police Department. It is not a matter that is a pleasant matter to discuss, but it's one that has been captured the interest of our community for quite some time. SLED has worked diligently on the investigation. They've turned that investigation over to us, and we have had the opportunity to evaluate that investigation, analyze that, review it for purposes of determining whether there was any criminal act committed by Officer Marcus Rhodes involving the shooting death of Trevor Veronez at Carolina Forest High School back in October. What I have done is, well, let me introduce the gentlemen that are up here with me today. First, we have Chief Reggie Lloyd, who is the Chief of the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. He's here has come down from Columbia to join us, has assisted us, has been personally involved in overseeing this investigation, and has made his resources and his people available throughout the process. We also have Special Agent Randy Truss, who was the lead agent on the investigation. He's assigned to the PD region and work with Agent Truss frequently. And also have Captain Ken McKenzie. Captain McKenzie is the captain in charge of the PD region. Once again, Captain McKenzie made his personnel and all resources that SLED had available to us, and as we went through this process of investigating this awful tragedy that occurred out of Carolina Forest. Just to kind of give you the protocol, we are called upon to review any officer-involved shooting case to determine if there has been any criminal violation on the part of that law enforcement officer in using deadly force. That's the scope of our analysis. That's what we're looking for when we evaluate the evidence in the case and the SLED report. Typically, we respond in writing to SLED. Once we've completed that analysis and that review, we prepare a report or in the form of a letter. We send an answer back to SLED, and we either accept prosecution or decline prosecution. The letter that I have provided to the media just a few minutes ago is a copy of that letter. I'm going to read that letter. That's essentially going to be my statement. I'll then turn it over to Chief Lloyd or any of the other SLED agents that Captain McKenzie or Agent Truss, anybody else that would like to add anything, will be available to take a few questions after that. So let me just start by, I'll go ahead and read this and then turn it over to Chief Lloyd. This is dated December 10, 2009. It's addressed to Chief Reggie Lloyd, South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. Dear Chief Lloyd, be advised that I have reviewed SLED's investigation of the officer-involved shooting that occurred October 16, 2009 at Carolina Forest High School involving Horry County Police Officer Marcus Rhodes and Carolina Forest student Trevor Veronez. Although this was an unthinkably tragic experience for all concerned and the community at large, there was absolutely no criminal violation on the part of Officer Rhodes, and I decline prosecution. The evidence is undisputable that the deceased intended to commit suicide. For reasons unknown, he chose to involve a law enforcement officer to assist him in his objective, and he took very intentional steps to carry out his plan. Officer Rhodes and Trevor Veronez did not know each other, and there is no evidence of any previous contact between the two. On the morning of October the 16th, Mr. Veronez asked to speak to Officer Rhodes in his office. Once inside the office, Mr. Veronez closed the door and, upon distracting Officer Rhodes, attacked him with a large bayonet-style knife. Officer Rhodes resisted the attack for a significant period of time before discharging his service weapon. He initially attempted to disable Mr. Veronez by shooting him in the leg several times, but this attempt only seemed to strengthen Mr. Veronez's resolve. Ultimately, Officer Rhodes was stabbed in the back 7 times and began to believe that he was losing control of the situation. Not knowing how badly he was injured, Officer Rhodes' concerns for his safety and the safety of others if Veronez were to gain access to his service weapon were well placed. The evidence indicates that at this point he fired his service weapon at least 2 times, wounding Mr. Veronez in the abdomen and fatally wounding him in the chest. The use of deadly force in this case was not only justified, it was essential to protect the students and staff at Carolina Forest High School, as well as the safety of the officer. Officer Rhodes took exceptional measures to avoid the use of deadly force. Unfortunately, Mr. Veronez was totally and completely committed to carry out his objective. Thank you for SLED's investigation of this heartbreaking matter. Your agents have been thorough, available, and responsive throughout the investigation, and they are to be commended. My prayer is that the healing for all concerned will continue. Sincerely, J. Gregory Hembree, Solicitor. At this point, I would like to turn it over to Chief Lloyd or any of the other SLED agents that might like to comment.
Thank Solicitor Hembree for his office support of our agents during the course of this investigation. I, of course, want to commend the agents who were involved in this investigation. It was extremely thorough. We aided during the course of the investigation with excellent advice from the Solicitor's office. This has been an excellent and thorough review of all the facts in this case. I echo everything Solicitor Hembree has just said to everyone. Obviously, our hearts go out, sympathies to everybody who's been involved in this, not just the deceased and his family, but certainly Officer Rhodes and the school district here, personnel here who had to endure all of this. I will add this final thought from my perspective, and that's that we all owe, I think, Officer Rhodes a great deal of commendation. It is clear from our investigation, in my opinion, that he did everything he could not to have the situation end the way that it did. He should be commended for that. And at great risk to himself, he did try to de-escalate the situation, and unfortunately was put in a position where he had to take the final action that he did. So my heart goes out to the officer when he's had to endure, but thanks go out to him as well for putting the interests of the school, not only staff but other students, at the center of